The Cuban Missile Crisis, a pivotal moment in 1962, brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. This 13-day standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union was sparked by the discovery of Soviet missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from American shores. Its historical significance cannot be overstated, as it reshaped global politics and highlighted the dangers of nuclear proliferation. In this video, we'll delve into the potential escalation of the crisis and explore alternate outcomes. By examining these scenarios, we can better understand the delicate balance of power and the lasting implications for international relations today. The Cuban Missile Crisis emerged from the intense Cold War tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union, characterized by ideological conflict and a race for nuclear supremacy. Following the 1959 Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro's alignment with the Soviet Union posed a direct threat to U.S. interests in the region. This alliance allowed the Soviets to establish a foothold just off the American coast. Key figures like President John F. Kennedy and Premier Nikita Khrushchev played crucial roles in this geopolitical drama, as their decisions and strategies would ultimately determine the fate of nations and the world during this critical period. The Cuban Missile Crisis reached a boiling point when U.S. reconnaissance flights discovered Soviet missiles stationed in Cuba, prompting an urgent response from President Kennedy. In a bold move, he implemented a naval blockade to prevent further shipments of military supplies to the island. This action heightened tensions, leading to intense diplomatic negotiations between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The United Nations played a vital role in mediating the crisis, providing a platform for dialogue and urging both sides to seek a peaceful resolution. These critical moments defined the crisis and showcased the precarious nature of Cold War diplomacy. If the Cuban Missile Crisis had escalated, the world could have witnessed direct military confrontations between U.S. and Soviet forces, potentially leading to devastating ground battles in Cuba. The impact on civilian populations would have been catastrophic, with millions at risk in both Cuba and the U.S. The specter of nuclear warfare loomed large, as both superpowers had arsenals capable of mass destruction. A nuclear exchange could have resulted in unprecedented loss of life and long-lasting environmental damage, reshaping global politics and alliances for generations. Exploring these scenarios underscores the fragility of peace during one of history's most dangerous moments. Had the Cuban Missile Crisis escalated, NATO allies would likely have rallied behind the United States, but the situation could have strained relationships, especially with nations wary of nuclear conflict. Non-aligned countries might have condemned both superpowers, calling for peace and diplomacy. Increased tensions in Europe and Asia could have emerged, as nations reassessed their security strategies amid fears of a broader conflict. The media would play a crucial role in shaping public perception, amplifying fear and anxiety through coverage of military movements and potential nuclear threats. This heightened awareness could have led to mass protests and calls for disarmament worldwide. An escalated Cuban Missile Crisis would have profoundly impacted U.S. and Soviet foreign policy, likely leading to a more aggressive stance from both superpowers. The fear of nuclear confrontation could have prompted a rush to expand military capabilities, undermining diplomatic efforts. This scenario might have delayed or derailed crucial nuclear arms control agreements, such as the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, as nations prioritized security over cooperation. Additionally, the trajectory of the Cold War could have shifted dramatically, potentially prolonging the conflict and increasing global instability. The lessons learned from such a crisis would resonate for decades, shaping international relations and security policies. The Cuban Missile Crisis offers vital lessons in the importance of diplomacy for conflict resolution. It underscores how effective communication channels between superpowers can prevent misunderstandings and reduce the risk of escalation. Establishing direct lines of communication, like the hotline created after the crisis, is essential for managing tensions. Additionally, public awareness plays a crucial role in preventing future crises. An informed citizenry can advocate for peace and hold leaders accountable. By reflecting on these lessons, we can better navigate international relations and work towards a more stable and peaceful world, ensuring that history does not repeat itself in similar conflicts. In summary, the Cuban Missile Crisis was a critical moment in history that highlighted the dangers of nuclear escalation and the importance of diplomacy. We explored the events leading up to the crisis, the potential scenarios had it escalated, and the long-term consequences for global politics. These lessons remind us of the need for effective communication and public awareness in preventing future conflicts. If you found this analysis insightful, please subscribe for more historical content. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments and explore related videos on our channel to deepen your understanding of this pivotal event.